Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be getting into the new Smashbox Crystalized collection. This collection looked really pretty with the packaging, but I'm interested in seeing if it's going to look this pretty on my face. So if you're interested in this video, then please continue watching. There's a lot in this collection. There's primers, glitter drops, setting sprays, eyeshadow palette, highlighter, liquid eyeshadows, lip glosses. There's a lot in here, but I feel like a lot of stuff is interestingly priced. Like I feel like some of it is priced pretty high for what it is, and some of it is really reasonable. So I'm gonna get into this. Now, the first thing that I'm gonna start with is priming my face. They did come out with the Photo Finish Crystallized primer, but I do really enjoy the regular primerizer. As you can see, I've used a decent amount of this, so I was thinking like, oh, a glowy version of this one, I'm probably gonna like it. Now, I did already swatch some of this stuff. Can't remember if I swatched this one or not. Well, I did because it pumped out instantly. But let me show you on my hand. It's like a really peachy color. It's more gold with like a little bit of pink. Now, I know I didn't upload a video on Monday because I actually filmed a video for Monday, but for some reason that day, I was out of it. So I found that on this YouTube journey that I'm not a person that really likes to just sit down and film. I don't like any of the videos where I just sit down and like try and do something. I have to have stuff like planned out. I have to know what I'm talking about, or when I go and edit it, I just sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't like that. So I end up not uploading, and then I kind of feel down on myself because I tell you guys that I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then when I don't do that, I'm like, oh man, I'm so bad at this, and I like really bring myself down about it. But I just wanted to give you guys a little tidbit on what's going on. But I'm really happy about this video. I couldn't film this for Monday's video, so I am doing it for Wednesday. But I feel like next week and the week after that is gonna be so much fun with all of the new stuff coming out. If you guys have seen Trend Mood, you should definitely guess on some of the stuff that I am getting. Let me wipe my fingers off because I have little glitter bits all over my hands. It's super fine though, like on my hand and even on my palm there. I don't even know if you are gonna be able to see that. It's like little teeny little baby speckles on my face. I'm gonna zoom you guys in today. Let's see, on my forehead. Now I do have another thing that I mentioned in my other video that I didn't mention in anything else was that I'm having a ton of little baby breakouts right now, and it's caused by stress. So but you can see what the primer looks like. It isn't super glowy. Like I feel like the Beauty Blender, the Opal, gives me more of a glow than this one. Also, I feel like this primer doesn't hydrate as well as this one. It feels pretty sticky on my face, and as I'm touching my face, I can see the glitter coming off on my hand, which I don't really like. But both of these primers are $42, which in my opinion, I think this is worth $42 because I actually like it. It actually works. It does hydrate my skin and it does prime my skin. For this one, I feel like it doesn't give me enough of a glow that I like. It's more like this with a bunch of glitter in it. So I'm not super impressed by this. Like if you told me this was $42 and like you're trying to talk me into it, I'd be like, Now I'd pay $42 for the Beauty Blender one, but that's just my opinion. All right, so now I'm gonna take the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. I do really like this foundation. As you can probably tell, I have used this one just about as much as the Smashbox Primerizer. Can't talk right now, but I'm gonna shake it up. That's what I wanted to show you guys. I've had it kind of sitting because if you haven't seen from my other videos, I've been kind of trying out different foundations right now. But honestly, this foundation is really good. I do like this one. This was one of the first foundations that really worked for me. It's not a super full coverage foundation, and this foundation is $36. So it's actually cheaper than the primer. How funny is that? But back to what I was saying. It's not a full coverage foundation, but it stays like no other. Like, I love wearing this in the summer. It is a bit dark for me right now just because I use this a lot in the summer, and when it's kind of hot outside like it is today. It's finally getting up to that like 70-degree weather, and I'm from Texas, and I'm like, yes, bring on the 100-degree weather. I'm so tired of it being like 60 and 50 every morning. If you're from Texas and you like the Texas heat, you'll know what I mean. But if you're not, you probably are like, oh, good, I'm good on a sunny and 75 day. I feel like this primer doesn't really do that much for $42. It does crease on me just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. But as you can see, like, you can still see my little breakouts on my face. You can still see my freckles, but it evens my skin tone out and it gets rid of the redness. I break out pretty easily. Like right now I'm stressed, and the only reason that I know that I'm breaking out because of stress, because if it's hormonal breakouts, I don't normally break out all over my face randomly, and when I'm stressed I break out all over my body. So like I have breakouts over here on my collarbone, I have them on my shoulder. Stress is no joke. So I need to de-stress, play with makeup, not think about anything. So I got the primers and the foundation out of the way. Oh, I did have the concealer, the Studio Skin concealer that came with the Smashbox foundation, but I finished the whole tube of concealer. From what I remember, I do like it, but I'm going to be using the Tarte Creaseless concealer because, I mean, I feel like Smashbox and Tarte are in a similar realm of things. Y'all, I was in a shower the other night, and I put the oil makeup remover on before I get in the shower, and I was washing my face off, and I felt this like under the skin pimple on my lip, like right up here. Oh my gosh, those things are no joke. Oh, I was so disappointed in myself. Those are the worst, I swear to God. But I use these Peter Thomas Roth. Do I have them anywhere? I use the Peter Thomas Roth Acne Clear Invisible Dot Banish Treatment. It's kind of dusty, but this is what I use for like emergency breakouts like that one, where it's like under the skin, painful, don't want to deal with it. It hurts to talk. Like I feel like everyone has had a pimple like that where it just hurts. And so I put it on for 2 nights in a row, and the like inflammation that it had is gone. The redness is almost gone. I'm like, thank you, Peter Thomas Roth, again for saving my face. Now, I've never really used those. I'm just gonna prime my eyelids really quick with the Makeup Forever Step 1 eyeshadow primer. But I've never really used that acne clearing dots on like an active pimple that you can see the whitehead on, because I'm a popper and a picker. So when I see that, I just pop it, which I shouldn't do, which is what leaves all these little red dots, and then it turns into acne scars. I can't help myself. It's like an addiction. If you definitely struggle with having like those painful under the skin pimples for like that time of the month, or stress or anything like that, where you typically get like 1 or 2 really bad under the skin pimples, I swear by those acne dots. And then while I'm at it, I'm gonna put a little concealer just to conceal the discoloration. Now, this concealer is a liar. It does crease on me. I like the coverage of it. Not like the fullest coverage, and I like how it feels to where it's like really thick and creamy to try out before I put powder on. It's the Smashbox Crystalized Shimmer Drops in the shade Moonstone. Whoa, it's so tiny. It says Moonstone. Now this is $25 and it is the size of my thumb. $25? What? That's insane. So I dropped out 2 little bits on my hand. They're very holographic. Like as I move my hand, I can see like orange, purple, blue, all sorts of different colors. So let me just take a little bit on my finger. I'm a little worried because the Smashbox foundation is an oil control foundation, so I don't know if it's gonna separate on me. I don't want to like this. Oh, I don't want to like this. This looks freaking awesome though. Like, I'm really hoping my camera is picking up how holographic this looks on my face, but it is insane. Like, I'm putting this on and every time I move, it looks like a different color. And the best part of it is that when I'm looking where I can't see the color, it's not dark on my face or gray. I'm trying to layer it up. That is so cool. Why does this look so cool? Oh, wow. Looks like there's a pink rainbow on my lip. Like pink, blue, purple. Whoa. So after the oil has dried, it looks like this. And I feel like my camera's picking that up. That's how it looks on my face. That's crazy. Can you see this on my face? That looks so cool. Okay, so now I feel like this product is the first product that actually reminds me of this because they have the same color to it, but it's not really coming off of my hand, which I guess is a good thing that it like kind of sets itself. Like I tried to wipe it off with a towel. You could see all the little glitter bits still on there. All right, now we are going to set. I don't really need to set this foundation. I'm gonna set my under eyes. My under eyes are the ones that cause me problems. I'm just gonna take the Laura Mercier setting powder. So before we get into the eyeshadow palette, this is the highlighter. Now this highlighter is $39. $39. Again, this highlighter is more expensive than the foundation. Now, it could be the packaging, but honestly, I'd rather pay $39 for a Fenty highlighter than a Smashbox highlighter, to be completely honest. Now, I don't really want to put it on my cheeks because I'm afraid it's gonna ruin it. So I'm just gonna take my highlighting brush, the ColourPop F5, and I'm just gonna dip on into it. It looks really pinky. I'll put this on my, yeah, that's a totally different color there. This one is very similar to that primer. That's like pretty peachy gold. I might put a little bit on just like the apples of my cheeks. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, honestly, if you had to choose between the primer and the highlighter, I would say I like the highlighter a little bit more than primer. So watch it for you guys. It is pretty soft in the pan. This is what it looks like swatched out on my hand. It has that kind of like goldish pink peachy, but still it's nothing like totally out of the ordinary that never tried before, you know what I mean? All right, before I get into my eyeshadow, again, I'm going to be using the the Sephora Collection contour palette. This is a super affordable contour palette that has pretty good shades, and I like the container of it just because you can see it and it's not like, oh, what palette is that I have there that's been hiding in the corner? But as you can tell, I use this shade a ton, which I don't think it has a name, but it's one of the lighter shades. Now, if you see this brush kind of fraying out, it's because it's on its last leg. It's about to die. It's about to go to brush heaven. I'm not ready for it to go to brush heaven yet. We're gonna look bronzy today. See, this color doesn't look dark whatsoever, but when I put it on my face, I'm like, holy cow. I'm so bronze, which is why I'm afraid of those darker shades. Now, another thing, I feel like this liquid highlighter that I put on is not going anywhere. So if you do end up picking up this liquid highlighter, be pretty careful about where you put it, because I feel like I put it too wide on my nose and it's not really, oh my gosh, get off of my face, blending out. This brush is so old, guys, but I need to get new brushes and I don't need to get new brushes at the same time. I'm like kind of hung up on the same brushes that I use for myself for the last like 7 years. I'm actually gonna use this for my eyebrows as well, as soon as I can get the brush. Oh Jesus, my life. So I'm gonna take this middle shade on this contour palette and do my eyebrows really fast. But like, do you guys see how pigmented this powder is? Like, I'm literally just tapping it in there and like, oh, and there's brow powders that are super tiny, tinier than this one pen, that is more expensive than this whole palette. I have their highlighter palette. I can show you guys in a minute. I do really like it for like everyday, super easy, grab and go, natural highlighters, especially if you're someone that's new to doing highlighters and you don't really like this crazy holographic thing I got going on my face. This is a pretty good highlighting palette. Let me open it for you. So the ones that I really like to use is the white one, that middle one, and this one. I use a ton and they're just great. They look great on the skin. They blend out really well. So now we're gonna get into this Crystallized Eye Palette. I do like their formulas for these type of eyeshadow palettes. I did have a couple of them, but I found that I never really reached for them because they're a little bit tinier and they typically have more neutral shades except for the really colorful, vibrant one. So I ended up passing them to my mother. So let's get into this. What I like a lot about this eyeshadow palette is that you can really mix and match all of the colors, or you can just cover it up and you're like, oh, there's my eye look, super easy. Or like this one, oh, there's my eye look, super easy. But I'm gonna try and use all of the colors. And like I told you guys, this concealer does crease on my eyelids all the freaking time. Why? Let me go ahead and swatch these out for you. So here is what that palette looks like swatched out. You can definitely tell which color is which. So I'm assuming it's gonna be more of a pinky color, but don't these two look pretty dang similar? I wish they would have done like an iridescent, like greeny blue shade and then just kept this pink color. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the designer of Smashbox. Also, another thing, this palette is $29. This highlighter is $10 more than the eyeshadow palette. And you can use this highlighter that looks exactly like the highlighter on your face. Whoa, who would have known? And I'm just gonna take the gray. So a ton of stuff picks up on the brush. Ooh, it's pretty powdery, but the pigment is pretty good. I don't know. I feel like they could have gone a little bit of a better route with this, but I get where they're going with it, where they have like a lot of like pinky crystallized colors and there's like a little hint of blue and green, but it's most like dominantly pink. So if you like a really like pinky purple peach colors, I feel like you're gonna really like this collection. But if you don't, and then I'm just taking that mauve-y color right over top of the gray, or like a plum maroon shade. I'm a little unsure of where I want to go with this. I'm taking the highlighter on one side of my brow bone, clean the brush off so there's nothing left on the brush, and I'm going to take this shade that I think looks like the highlighter on my other brow bone. I actually preferred the formula of the eyeshadow over the highlighter. This just looks a little bit more smoother. I think for once I'm going to do a cut crease and use all of the shimmer shades, but first I'm gonna deepen up my crease with this kind of brownie metallic shade just on the outer corner. Right here. Maybe I lied. Maybe not just the outer corner. I want to take that pink shade into the center of the lid, so I'm going to take a flat brush and the green shade first, which I'm terrified of because it looks like it's going to fall out. Okay, no, it did pretty well. It feels like a lot of product on my eyelid though. I can feel it on my eyes. Like when you put a really thick concealer on your eyelids, that's what this eyeshadow feels like. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It just feels really odd. Pretty though, it just feels weird. I can't imagine putting this all over my eyes. I just have it on my inner corner and it feels like just stuff. I'm gonna take the blue shade now. These are not wet, by the way. These are dry. I feel like I do need to wet this one just to get that kind of winged out look that I'm looking for. And if you see fallout on my face, I will get it. It doesn't really look that different from being wet and dry. Normally there's like a drastic difference, but there's really not. I'm gonna try the pink shimmer shade that's a bit darker. I mean, it works pretty well dry. I'm not that impressed with it. I'm gonna take that highlighter shade. All right, I'm gonna shake up these like glitter drops. I take literally just a drop and kind of blend it out on my hand and get rid of some of that oil, but still picking up the shimmer. And I'm just gonna lightly tap over my eye. That's more of what I'm talking about. I'm getting so messy with this freaking makeup. Oh my god. Lastly, I'm gonna take just a teeny bit of that gray color that's super powdery. I'm gonna put this under my eyes. And then I'm gonna take that matte shade and go over my inner corner, I guess. Doesn't really highlight. It's more like a setting shade, for me at least, and I'm pretty pale. A big powder brush, and I'm gonna brush away all this fallout, which I can do without setting my face because this foundation is amazing. All right, so the next three things that I have, I'm gonna hopefully try on all three of them individually, but they're all the Hoodwitch lip glosses that are called Gloss Angeles, but these are all $19 each. I'm gonna start off with this one that's called Practical Magic, which is the lightest one. Not the biggest fan of that one. Nope. Nay, nay. Nay, nay. It feels really oily. Like I'm trying to take it off with my cellar water and there's like, feels like liquefied Vaseline. All right, so the next one is called Your Real Me, but it's a kind of purpley gold shade. Wow, that like oily bit I can feel all over. See, this one is not so glittery. I like that it has more color to it. Oh, I didn't even clean up my foundation around my mouth. So this one definitely feels a lot better and looks a lot better. No, that one doesn't feel oily at all. All right, The last one that I'm probably going to be leaving on is called Free Spirited, which is more of a pinky orange. See, I don't like this one either. This one and this one have a pretty similar formula where they're a little bit more sticky and glittery. Let me show you up close. There's that one. That's kind of a bummer. I don't know, this one just feels like a really good gloss. Lord have mercy. I just popped on this lip gloss and I put a little bit of mascara on. The last thing in this collection is they have 3 different setting sprays that they came out with, and I wanted to try out them all. So they're $32 each, which is pretty expensive. The first one is Crystal Clarity, which is lavender and sweet orange. It definitely has a similar sprayer to the primer water. I do like the smell of it. It smells like a citrusy lavender. It's not really orange citrusy though. The next one is called Love Ritual, and it's jasmine and rose. It smells like one of the Prada fragrances, but not as intense. And the last one is called Aurora Shield, Clary, Sage, and Tea. Definitely tea and sage. So out of them all, I would say I like the scent of this one the best. But for this actual sprayer, I know I've mentioned this a couple of times, but this Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist has ruined setting sprays for me. Honest to goodness, this feels so good on your face that you don't ever want to use anything else in your life. It's like you're walking in fog. Like, it's just the finest thing ever, and it smells like Jolly Ranchers. It smells like the sleeping mask. Yeah, the watermelon sleeping mask, if you've ever smelled that one. Alright, quick little recap on everything. Let's start off with the primerizer. Not the biggest fan of this. I definitely think that there's better liquid, like glowy primers than this one. I don't think that $42 is a good price for this. So for this one, I would say it's a pass for me. Not super impressed by it. Foundation, I love it. The original primerizer, love that one. That one, no. The Moonstone, the Crystallized Shimmer Drops in Moonstone, I am actually pretty impressed by this. I was initially thinking that it was going to be pretty similar to my Cover FX ones, but it's not. So I'm going to say that I'm going to try this out a little bit more and see how I like it, because I do like the effect that it's giving my face. I just want to try and try it underneath foundation, try it over foundation, mixing it with different highlighters, because I do like this one. I'm not so happy with the price that it's $25. Yee. Like the eyeshadow palette is $29 and this one's $25, and it's like, it's a lot of money for shimmering face drops. Next up, the highlighter. Huge pass for me. Highlighter is $39, more expensive than most of the stuff in this collection, but the primer, it's not that impressive. If you get the eyeshadow palette, I feel like the highlighting shade in the eyeshadow palette is actually a better formula than this one. But if you like this kind of big, extravagant packaging, then it might be worth the money to you. I personally didn't like the formula. I didn't really like the shade of it. Felt like if you got the palette that you get more shades in, and you get a shade that's virtually identical to this one that's cheaper. I'm gonna have to pass on this one. So meh. The highlighting palette, I do like it. I do like the formula of Smashbox eyeshadows. I do think they do a pretty good job. I do like the look that I came out with. I do think it's like crystallized and kind of like fairy-like. It definitely went along with the theme of this and the highlighter, but am I honestly gonna reach for this on an everyday basis? No. Is it something that I've never seen before? No. Is it something super unique that I have to have it? No. So honestly, it really depends on you. For me, this is interesting, but I definitely have other things like this to where there's not really a need for this in my collection, but at least you guys can check it out. If you don't have a lot of shimmering eyeshadows, you could check this out, see how you like it. Now on to the lip glosses. These two lip glosses, let me show you up close. So the two right here are super glittery and sticky for some reason. This one has a completely different formula where it feels comfortable on my lips. It's not super glittery. I don't feel any glitter on my lips, but for some reason these just look super gross on my lips. And for $19 for these lip glosses, meh. And then I also have, but like I said, if you're looking at this collection at Ulta, I believe it's only at Ulta. I don't think Sephora has it. But if you're looking at this collection and you're like, oh, this looks interesting, and you want to pick up a lip gloss, I would highly recommend let me show you what they did. They put the friggin' number on there. What is it called? The like batch number over the name. And you cannot read what it says. You can't even really read what the batch number is. You real me? I think that's what it says. Lastly, the setting sprays. Honest to goodness, I was addicted to setting sprays, and I would like to have a bunch of different scented setting sprays. Then I would definitely say that these are pretty awesome. $32. They spray pretty evenly. They smell really nice. They're not overpowering. They don't irritate my skin. They don't leave big dollops on my face. But in all reality, do you need all three of these? No. So honestly, I'm probably just gonna keep the Jasmine and Rose one, just to be completely honest, because these, I mean, not the Jasmine, the lavender and the orange one, it's the one that I like. Let me spray it. Yeah, this one smells really good. Let me spray the other one. I'm not the biggest fan on rose smells. Yeah, this one smells like the fresh rose moisturizer to me. Not the biggest fan of this one. I like the lavender and the orange one. Yeah, so out of all of them, I do like the scent of this one. But if you like rose scents, then you might like this one. And if you like the smell of tea, then you might like this one. So that is everything in this collection. Try it on, swatch, prices. If you want the names of anything, I'll put the name and the link of everything, prices, in my description box of this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, this collection is, I believe, only at Ulta. It is a limited edition collection. But I hope I gave you guys my complete honest opinion about pricing, performance, do you need it? Only thing that I would say is really interesting is definitely this highlighter, because I keep catching a glimpse of it and I'm like, it's like purple over here, pink over here, and then I got a little bit of blue over here. It just looks so bomb. But again, it really depends on your preferences, what you like, but probably not going to keep everything just because it looked really cool online. I was all about it. Love the packaging, love the colors, the idea, and then trying it out and just watching it, I was just very like underwhelmed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This video is going to be so long, but I love you guys and thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.